So there were two gentlemen, I believe, who were checking IDs, checking the credentials at the kind of the entrance to this property, and I think somebody was sort of cautioning the crowd that only people with credentials would be allowed past this point. And so when we got to that point, they asked if we had credentials. We said no, and they looked at us, but then we said, well, we're coming to the free speech zone. And they said, oh, okay, and they waved us through. So it had to do with that we knew about the free speech zone. So I don't know what they would do with somebody who wanted to come here but didn't know that this was called a free speech zone. They wouldn't have been let in. So that was where they separated, apparently, out people who wouldn't have known that there was a place that they could express themselves. So at this point, when we were walking through, there wasn't anybody further to tell us that a certain portion of the the free speech zone stopped, and then a booster zone began. So there wasn't anybody to tell us that. So we inadvertently walked into this booster zone thinking that that was going to be access to the place that we'd heard about that was available on either side of the stairs. And it turns out that the tape, cut that off so that there wasn't any access to those grassy areas besides the stairs. So we just stopped where we were, and I mean, it was close enough to people that were waiting in line, so we held our banner there. That kind of oval-shaped area there.
Over on the side of the steps?
Over the side, and then the one on this side of the steps.
Yeah.
Which I put on the website as possibilities. Yeah. So and that's what I thought we were given access to, and what I understood from the ACLU meeting was that of course they couldn't connect this with those. That's understandable. So there was this area, one area, and that area, which was reachable from Venatucci.
Which is what they had said at the ACLU.
That's what I understood, right? So then when they stopped us there, then we came here. So we walked right up to the end of the tape, and we saw that there was no, there wasn't going to be access to those places, but we thought this was going to be fine. There were a lot of people there, so we just unfurled our banner right there. And so when they told us that we couldn't be there, we expressed that we actually wasn't our intention. We were trying to get to the place that we understood that was available to us on either side of the stairs, and they were telling us no, that's not available. And so it appeared that the story had changed from the last discussion that I'd witnessed. So then it seemed reasonable that this would be kind of a compromise, but they insisted that this was just for the boosters. And so we asked where the boosters were, and if the boosters weren't here yet, well, why couldn't we stand here, until the boosters arrived, and we wouldn't have any trouble, we wouldn't want to interrupt anybody then. But they said no, we had to go. And so we thought, well, this is really at odds with what we expected and what we had been understood would be available to us. And they said, we'll go get the supervisor. And when the supervisor arrived, the only thing he said was, I want you to move back. I want you to move back to that area. And he wouldn't take anything. It wasn't a matter of asking him, well, hold on a second. He just reiterated that he wanted us to move, and when he told us to move, we had to move. And so without kind of any further ado, he grabbed my wrist, and that was that. So so we thought that if we were going, somewhere we weren't supposed to be, there'd be somebody there. No?
And there was no police between those that said, go on in there.
No, not at all.
And
not
when
at all.
you got up there.
Yeah, and when we were there, we were standing there, and then it wasn't until we unfurled this banner that they converged. And I mean, they converged in a friendly manner, but from all directions. So when they were subduing me, Peter then had hold of the full banner and both bamboo poles that supported the banner and the flag, and several SWAT members subdued Peter, and they actually pushed him all the way back to this grassy area. And when they had taken the banner and flag from him, they broke both over their knee. I don't know why they would have done that after they'd actually had control of it, but they broke it over their knee and discarded it into the bushes here. And apparently they treated Peter rather roughly, and then they brought him back to where I was, and he was handcuffed, and we were both sitting against the curb. So I had to come back later and find the banner and find the flag.
So the charge is no longer obstruction.
Right, and for some reason they couldn't, or the policemen handling this were puzzled why they couldn't just, X out what they'd originally written and just write in now trespass. But their bosses made them do the paperwork from scratch, including new fingerprints. And so after a while of pleasant conversations at the station, they decided they were going to release us, and they were going to release us at Sand Creek, but they got other instructions that they were supposed to release us at Falcon Substation, which is at Briargate and Academy. So they drove us up there. And it wasn't until we were there that they let us have our stuff back, including my cell phone, so that I could call somebody to come pick me up. So effectively, that put us out of the running for being able to come back here and resume our demonstration.